Welcome to the 28th lesson of SmartKnitter, Knit Instructions Level 2. In this lesson, we will talk about the knot options during translation. Let's look at the first example with stripes. In translation setting, under knot option, we can see feeder out option. Feeder out option sets how the normal feeders, except for setup elastics, Revell yarn and drawn thread feeders, being brought in and out of the knitting area. To prevent yarns pulled taut after knitting, we can choose to secure the yarn before taking the feeders away. We can choose to knit a stitch of tuck, jersey, or full needle stitch. Knit with Revell yarn after cast on is an option to control how yarns that are hung on the side after initial cast on behave when start to be brought in for knitting. We can choose knit directly, or knit a stitch of tuck, jersey, or full needle stitch before main course. We can also opt for knotting one revolution in advance. Auto knot striping yarn is an option to secure the striping yarns when the stripes are wide or uneven in height. This would prevent the yarns from snagging with long flows at edge. The yarn ends can be cut after linking. We can set the number of revolutions between each stripe color and also the way to secure yarns here. We can delay the knot by one revolution by checking the option to prevent clashing with other knotting options used. Auto tuck for stripes is to fix the striping yarn ends at edge, so no cutting is required during linking. Auto tuck for vertical float yarn. This is to secure the yarns that are left at the sides of the knitting area but are not participated in knitting yet. The revolution count set here should not be too small. The last option, knotted yarn do not knot again and start of stripes, can be checked when the auto tuck options are used to prevent duplicated knotting actions at edges. Let's translate this file. But we can see there is no tucking at edge to secure the yarns. This is because if both auto knot striping yarn and auto tuck for stripes options are checked, the system would perform only the first option, auto knot striping yarn. Uncheck the auto knot striping yarn option and retranslate. The yarns are now tucked at regular intervals. Let's look at another file. This panel is knitted with duo feeder. We can see that there are unnecessary tucking at edge for feeder 3-4. Check the option, knotted yarn do not knot again in start of stripes. There isn't any more tucking at edge after retranslation. Let's look at another stripe panel. We can see both feeder 3-4 knot frequently at edge. If we do not want this, we can check the option of auto knot striping yarn. Feeder 3 and 4 only knot at stripe transition position now. Let's move on to the next example. Upon translation, we see both tucks and knots at edge. We do not need knots at edge. Let's go back to the translation setting to make some changes. Check the option, knotted yarn, do not knot again in start of stripes. Now there are only tucks at edge. Let's look at another striped panel. There are a lot of tucks on the sweep edges. Let's go back to the translation setting to make some changes. Uncheck the option, Auto Knot Striping Yarn, and Auto Tuck for vertical float yarn. Only check the option, Auto Tuck for stripes. Retranslate. We can see no more tucking on the edges of sweep. The striped yarns only tuck at the edges of body. This marks the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching.